Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Hi, Ted.
What a great conference we're having today. Round of applause for Ron and everyone for throwing a great conference today. It's an interesting name, but today's conference is Michigan, a State of Success. I've met so many successful people here today, and it's not just the folks who are on stage today. No, I've met folks who are authors, who are writing books, who are entrepreneurs, who are spending time volunteering and giving to causes that matter most to them. I think today the conference should be not a state of success, but success, a state of mind. I think we're all successful in this room. So a round of applause to all of us for being successful. My name is Chad Wiebesick, and I work for the state of Michigan. I oversee social media for the Pure Michigan campaign. And take a moment to think. If somebody asks you, what does being in Michigan mean? What does it mean to live in Michigan?
You always have your map with you.
You always have your map with you. It's your hand, because Michigan is the mitten state. Well, we did a focus group about 6 years ago, and we asked that question to a focus group. What does Michigan mean to you? And these were people who were outside of the state. We heard two responses predominantly. The first response was, Michigan is like Alaska, only closer. The other response we heard was, Michigan is like Amish country, only with electricity. We all, and it's kind of funny, but a little bit kind of tongue-in-cheek, right? There's a little bit of truth to that. That was 6 years ago, and that was the impetus of us launching the Pure Michigan brand. Because what does pure mean? Pure means, in a literal sense, it means that we have authentic, abundant beauty in Michigan. It's fact that Michigan is surrounded by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, excuse me. It's also fact that Michigan has more lighthouses than any other state in the nation. Michigan has more golf courses than any other state in the nation. And Michigan has 25% of all fresh water in the world here. So what does pure mean in a literal sense? Is that there is authentic natural beauty. But in a figurative sense, pure also is a word that has personal meaning to us. It lends itself to longevity and interpretation. So let me forward this to the next slide, and we're going to play a little video clip here. To some people, this is what Michigan means to them. We're going to turn the volume up. AV is working on the back there. Should we try it one more time, or should I just say what the video is?
Snowbanks near the road. A few years ago, one boy...
Yeah, so that's a true story. That's a news anchor reporter in Traverse City who gets, just a snowplow comes through and she gets ramsacked with all the snow. So that's what Michigan means to some people. What we're trying to do for Pure Michigan is to shift perceptions of Michigan is not that. Michigan is a winter wonderland. It's a great place to live, work, and play. I'm going to advance to the next slide. I need some AV help here. So we spend about $25 million a year marketing Michigan. On January 1st, we launched the largest winter ad campaign in history. It's about $2.25 million. And you'll see, let's roll one of the winter TV commercials that you'll start seeing.
Remember snow day? When the schools were closed and the day was wide open. The first step into fresh powder is like stepping into a new world. The crunch of the snow is packed under our boots. The drip of icicles melting in the sun. So pull the hat down a little lower and make sure there's a cup of hot cocoa waiting. Because this winter, every day is snow day in Pure, Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
That is Tim Allen. He does the voice work on that. And his contract is top secret. It's been written in the contract that neither him nor the state of Michigan will reveal how much he pays for it. But it's actually a lot less than what you would imagine because he is a Michigan native and he enjoys Michigan. So the brand goal is for Pure Michigan to become as ubiquitous and as well-known and beloved of a brand as these other state tourism slogans. I love New York and Virginia's for lovers. I love New York. Who doesn't know I love New York? It's been around, it was birthed in the 30s and 40s during a time when New York was ridden with crime and there was desperation and the people were in the doldrums. And Pure Michigan is seen as the poster child, the coming of age brand. And in a very short period of time, in a mere 6 years, Pure Michigan is becoming as well known and beloved as I Love New York and Virginia is for lovers. And it's not because we're spending a ton of money, $25 million a year. It sounds like a lot of money, but compared to New York and Virginia, they're spending $60+ million a year. We just have a drop in the bucket. The brand works because it touches all of us. There's a strong sense of pride that us Michiganders have about our place in the world and where we live and what we love about it. And that's why the brand is so popular. Is the brand working? Let's take a look at a Jay Leno clip. And let's have Jay Leno tell us.
Now, summer is right around the corner. Have you noticed on TV now different states are coming out with vacation ads for that state? Like Michigan has that one, Pure Michigan. See the lakes of Michigan. See the Henry Ford Museum. Florida has theirs. Come to Florida. Go to Disney World. Go to Miami. See the beaches. Even South Dakota. South Dakota has a vacation. Here's show they're at.
Spend a week in South Dakota. On Monday, see Mount Rushmore. On Tuesday, see Mount Rushmore again. On Wednesday, visit the gift shop at Mount Rushmore. And on Thursday, relive your first experience at Mount Rushmore.
Poor South Dakota. They only have Mount Rushmore. Actually, that's wrong. They have the Badlands. So they have two. And then Mount Rushmore. I thought the clip was interesting, not because of the comparison to South Dakota, but the fact that when Jay Leno mentioned Michigan, did you hear what he said? He said Pure Michigan. He used the brand. So what's happening is the branding is working. He didn't say Michigan, he used Pure Michigan. And who was the other state besides South Dakota? Florida, exactly. So in one breath, you have Jay Leno and NBC saying our brand, Pure Michigan, and also Florida. I think that's highest honors right there. So how is all of this stuff working? Well, I'm happy to say that for this used to be for the 5th year in a row, Michigan.org was the nation's most visited state tourism website. As of last week, we just announced that for the 6th year in a row, Michigan is getting more traffic to its website than any other state in the nation. Who's number 2? Arkansas. Are you kidding me? Arkansas is number 2. Actually, this was the year before last year's ranking. Last year, now Florida is number 2. That makes a little bit more logical sense, doesn't it? And here's the website. For the business owners and the entrepreneurs that I've met in this room, if you're going through a website redesign project, we're seeing a new trend in the marketplace. It's called responsive web design. You'll want to write this down. It's a new web technology, new process of designing websites. It's so new that some folks, some web designers are calling it responsive web design, some are calling it adaptive, or you may hear fluid. But regardless of what you call it, what it means is that it's one website that works universally on all devices, regardless if it's a mobile device or an iPad or a laptop or a huge screen. You no longer need a mobile website because with responsive, it's a one-size-fits-all, universally works. And so Michigan was one of the first states in the nation to use this new cutting-edge technology. And you can see some screenshots here of a mobile and an iPad and a laptop. It's one website, one size fits all. One of the profound effects of living in a state that we love and we're passionate about is that people want to share their trips. When they travel here, they want to share their photographs. They want to tell their friends and family where they went and what they did. And so that lends itself to people sharing their stories on social media. Michigan, pure Michigan, is winning social media awards hands down, again and again and again. The U.S. Travel Association just this last year said, of all the states in the nation, this is the U.S. Travel Association, said, of all the states in the nation, Michigan has the best social media presence, #1 in the nation. Even better than New York or Florida or Arkansas. Michigan is #1. So there's 475,000 Facebook fans. So we all know today is what? What is today? Besides us being here in the conference, what is today? Today's Michigan's birthday. How old are we?
176.
176 years old today. So this morning I'm sitting behind my computer. Facebook page, 475,000 pure Michigan Facebook fans. I choose a lovely photograph, upload it, and I type it out. You know, today is Michigan's 176th birthday. Congratulations, we're happy. Thank you for being our fans. We love you guys, right? And before I hit send, there's 475,000 people. I got to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, because I can't take this back once I hit send. So I hit send, and you know what is remarkable? I kid you not, within 30 seconds, there was over 100 likes, shares, and comments. And in 30 minutes, there was 5,000 likes and shares and comments. You go there right now, there's over 10,000. That's a ton. Let me just put that in perspective. That's a ton if you got 475,000 fans. But on a typical post, we see like a tenth of that. And same on Twitter, when we shared Michigan's 176th birthday on Twitter today, within 30 minutes we got over 300 retweets. We typically get like 30 on a given post. Why do we get so many retweets? Because us Michiganders have a sense of pride of where we live. And we love living here. So what I do at Pure Michigan is I oversee social media. Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and 9 other different social channels. So I wanted to get into some business tactics because I met a number of business owners and entrepreneurs here today. I wanted to get into some business tactics based upon my experience of nearly 500,000 Facebook fans of what works for us that could work for you when you're managing your nonprofit or your business, okay? So my biggest bit of advice for you running Facebook business pages is to align your social strategy with your business objective, okay? It sounds simple, but it's oftentimes overlooked. So social media can be used any number of different ways, right? It can be used for customer service. It can be used to connect with people on an emotional level, which we find when we connect with people on an emotional level, they remain more loyal to us. If you take a moment to look at these photographs here, our objective is to showcase how beautiful Michigan is, and look at these photographs. Aren't they gorgeous? And you know what's slick about this? Is that Pure Michigan didn't take these photographs. We didn't take them. This is user-generated content. These are photographs from fans, and this is just drop-dead gorgeous photography. So we have fans visiting our social channels, not just Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest, uploading photographs and when we're sharing them. This works for your business too. Research shows that photographs that accompany Facebook posts get over 50% more likes, shares, and comments. So even if you're an old school industrial business-to-business manufacturer, if you find a photograph, because a picture speaks 1,000 words, if you upload a photograph to your Facebook page, you'll get more shares that way. I love this photograph. I don't know if the folks in the webinar can see this, but I love the photograph in the bottom right-hand corner. Can you guys see that in the back of the conference hall here? It's a photograph of a cloud. What is it in the shape of? Exactly. It's a cloud that looks serendipitously in the shape of Michigan's Lower Peninsula. This went viral. This was the most shared photograph ever in the history of the Pure Michigan Facebook page. It went viral. 2 days later, there was another photograph that appeared, user-generated content. You know what that was? Exactly. Somebody had photoshopped the Upper Peninsula, and that also went viral. Because the original photograph didn't have the UP because it was so heavenly, it floated away. So when I get invited to speak at social media conferences around the country with small business owners, what is the number one question you think and there's a lot of questions I get asked about social media. What do you think is the number one question I get asked from a small business person that is doing a bazillion things in front of them and they're trying to grow their business and get customers, and I start talking to them about social media? What's the number one question I get asked?
How do I get more likes? How much money will it make me?
Lots of questions. Great question. It takes too much time. How do you find the time to do all this stuff? I'm a small business owner. I don't have enough, another social media channel? I don't have enough time. I'm gonna give you 3 tips, and then I'm gonna wrap up. For all the folks that do have questions about anything that I covered, we're gonna do kind of a town hall meeting, me and some other folks here in this room, so you can ask any questions that you want. I'm gonna leave you with 3 top tips of how to save time. Some basic tips and some advanced tips, okay? So number 1, use Facebook's scheduler. It never ceases to surprise me how many people are not using Facebook's scheduler. You can go in there and post like you would regularly do it, and there's a small little icon that looks like a little clock, like an analog clock. You click that, you can choose the date, the time, the year, the minute, down to 10-minute increments. And then you set it and forget it. So what's cool about it is you can do posts ahead of time when you have free time. Okay, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, this is somewhat advanced. If you have more than one social channel, like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, you can use a free service like Hootsuite that consolidates all your social channels into one place. You post once and you publish everywhere. And we do have a question in the back of the room.
Hootsuite, I just didn't want to get it. Could you spell that for me? H-O-T-S?
Yeah, it's so the question was, how do you spell Hootsuite? It's a weird name. It's H-O-O-T. S-U-I-T-E, Hootsuite. And they're not the only game in town. I mean, you could use TweetDeck or CoTweet, but Hootsuite is nice. I use them for Pure Michigan because they have a nice iPad interface. Okay, so use Hootsuite. Also, an advanced technique is check out tweetwhen.com. Tweetwhen, write that down. You go there, and this stuff is free. It's free. You go to Tweetwhen. It'll analyze your last 1,000 tweets, and it'll analyze your last 1,000 tweets and tell you, of your last 1,000 tweets, what was the typical time when you get the most reshares, the most retweets, and the most comments, right? So what you can do as a small business owner is post during that time, right? So you can get the most engagement. What I find, I analyze my own personal channel. What I found, most effective time for me to share something, 8:20 p.m. Why? Why was it 8:20 p.m.? Think about it. Probably because people are at home, they're sitting on the sofa, they just got done watching TV or gearing up to watch the next show, they got a little bit of time in their hands, and they're just checking in. And so we find this on the Pure Michigan page as well, is that typically evening posts perform quite well because people are not working, they're leisurely at home. So that's tip number 2, is use Hootsuite. Finally, tip number 3, save time. How do you do it with social media? Is you can sign up to receive daily email alerts with Nutshell Mail. I'll spell that. It's Nutshell Mail. N-U-T-S-H-E-L-L Mail. Not like masculine male, but mail, like letter mail, M-A-I-L. It's owned by Constant Contact, and what you can do is it'll consolidate your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and it'll give you a Reader's Digest summary of all your activity sent directly to in your inbox whenever you want to get it. And so I have signed up to Nutshell Mail to get these Reader Digest summaries 3 times a day, 8 a.m., 12 noon, and then 5 p.m. So even if I'm not plugged in, checking out my Facebook page, every hour, one thing's for certain. What's one thing that we always do every day if we're not checking Facebook or Twitter? What is one thing we're guaranteed to do every day that we check? Is email. So Nutshell Mail delivers your social activity in a daily email digest. It saves a ton of time, and this stuff works. So we're going to fly past this stuff here. And then finally, getting back full circle to the Pure Michigan campaign, does it work? So we're spending $25 million a year. Does it work? It works. What we find is for every dollar that we invest advertising the campaign, for every dollar invested, it generates $4.90 in tax return to the state. The campaign is profitable. But regardless of what the state gets in terms of tax revenue back, how about for the businesses here, the local businesses here? What we find just last year is the campaign, the $25 million advertising campaign, generated $1 billion in Michigan businesses, for Michigan businesses. And this was conducted, it was not our research that we did. We didn't have a vested interest in it. It was conducted by Longwoods International, which is a Canadian company. And they do this for all the states. It's Longwoods International. So thank you for your time. My name is Chad Wiebesick, and I'm with Pure Michigan. If you have any other questions, I'll be in one of these breakout sessions. Thank you.